well, let's get her going then. It's 3:30. We will call to order the regular meeting of the Del Norte Solid Waste Management Authority on this July 17th, 2018. Would you please call the roll?
Here. Commissioner Naffa?
Here.
Commissioner Greeno?
Here.
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Chair Enscore?
I'm here. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Ready and begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We're going to open up public comment. Any member of the public can address the Solid Waste Management Authority on any matter that is on or off the agenda. After receiving recognition from myself, please give your name and address for the record and limit your comment to 3 minutes. Public comment. Yes.
Eileen Cooper. 1 second. Regarding your ad hoc committee, I do hope that as the committee proceeds that they share on a regular basis opportunities so that the public can participate fully and that we just don't get an end product days before, you know, an approval process for the ideas from the ad hoc committee, but that the public can truly participate in the formulation of ideas as you're working, but having frequent opportunities so that the whole board reviews the development of the ideas. And I think it's worthwhile that people with good ideas be able to get in the design of our programs. And I do see that I would like us still to pursue, you know, the prepaid bag idea that I brought forth earlier. And I just come back from San Francisco, so they are able to have, you know, compost picked up. We have backyard composting, but I think there's opportunity in that arena. If people are throwing their kitchen scraps down the drain, that is impacting our sewer system quite a bit. So that helps that too, if we can do something and discourage that and have a campaign to discourage that. But thank you.
All right, thank you. Do we have any other public comment this afternoon? Seeing no other public comment, we'll close public comment and we'll go into our open session items under consent. Do you want to take this after consent? After consent. Okay. Under consent, we have 5 items. The minutes.
Move to approve, Chair.
Okay.
Second.
We have 1 through 5. We have a motion and a second. Any public comment on our consent items? Okay. Would you please poll the vote?
Commissioner Cowan?
Yes.
Commissioner Naffa?
Sorry about this. I was jotting notes, but it's important that we pull the budget transfer, as there is a revision to the budget transfer that's been handed out that I'd
all right.
at least like to highlight.
I'd amend my motion to pull budget transfer item 1.5 and approve items 1.1 through 1.4.
Thank you, sir. Second.
All right. We have a motion second. All right. Now if you please pull the vote.
Commissioner Cowan?
Yes.
Commissioner Naffa?
Yes.
Commissioner Greeno?
Yes.
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Chair Enscore?
Yes. Very good. Mr. Ward, do you want to update us on 1.5?
Yes, this is the last budget transfer for fiscal year 17-18, so we did want to make it right, and I sure appreciate Kathy Brewer's continued good services, but she did point out there were a couple things that it would really help us if we could add to them. So the revised budget transfer that's been handed to each of you is for an amount of $39,989. So really close to the other one, but does tighten those budget lines up.
Move to approve.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any public comment on 1.5? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the board. Would you please poll the vote?
Commissioner Cowan?
Yes.
Commissioner Naffa?
Yes.
Commissioner Greeno?
Yes.
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Chair Enscore?
Yes. Very good. We'll go ahead and move into our regular reports, and as part of the director's report, why don't we go ahead and go to finances first?
I'm sorry, what?
Finances?
Finances, yes. So our finances are looking good. Here we are at the last report for this fiscal year, but prior to the actual closing of the fiscal year. So generally, regarding, I'll cover the main director's report first. The thing I am most excited about is the good work of Kira Seymour in getting the Refuel Your Fun campaign going. If you all noticed the paper today, on the front page, there was a story about how to reduce the impacts of propane use when people are camping. And so last meeting, you all saw the Refuel Your Fun reusable propane refillable container. And now it looks like we're going to have a second location. Kira, do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
The second location, I got a yes from the Lucky 7 fuel stop up there. I just got that yes a couple days ago. They're not quite up and running yet, but so we got some momentum on it, and so I'm really proud of our community for doing that.
Thank you.
So that's very exciting, and delighted that we're able to do that this summer. So that's a new service, new reusable service. I did attend the Rural Counties ESJPA meeting and did facilitate a group discussion on reducing and abating illegal dumping. And I'm glad to say that in general our programs are pretty comprehensive compared to what most other communities have. In the coming weeks, we'll be interviewing for some openings we have for gate staff. Just preliminarily reviewed those applications, and we'll be doing interviews in the coming weeks. So that, let's see, one more thing on the director's report. I did include in there the annual inflation factor, essentially estimating that our current outstanding liability for the Crescent City landfill is approximately $2.168 million, which is why, on the whole, even though our fiscal picture is looking more towards the black, still fundamentally the agency's in the red. We have a net deficit position, but that's because of this agency has taken on the liability associated with the landfill and still has the obligations to pay off the transfer station. So things are looking good or better, but we are still fundamentally in the red, and so it's good that our incomes are increasing. With that, that concludes the text of the director's report. I'd be happy to move on to the financial reports.
Okay, good.
Okay. Financially, we didn't have quite the strong month we did the month prior, but things are still looking good. And specifically, I'd point out that our revenues, both in terms of the tipping fees at the Del County Transfer Station and the franchise fees, were well ahead of budget. So we're approximately $90,000 extra into the black this year. So that's good news. And it also enables us to support good community efforts, such as the Clean Sweep. I happen to just have a total in my hand. The Clean Sweep, we recovered and recycled over 25 tons of brush, and we're grateful to Hambro WSG for helping us with that program. And during the Elk Creek cleanup, which is a huge community effort driven by Crescent City, we collected 27.58 tons of material in it, as well as a mattress, 3 refrigerators, 5 tires, and that month, it's hard to separate, but we also received for no charge 1.3 tons of tansy ragwort, in addition to supporting the Klamath River cleanup. So these extra revenues allow us to support those good community projects. With that, that's the end of the financial reports, unless the oh, I forgot something really important. Last month, I neglected to include it in the director's report, but once again, we had a surprise cash count, and our records matched our balances to the penny. So once again, good work for Kathy and the rest of our accounting staff. Haley, in case you're listening. So moving on, if you could, Mr. Chair, I'd like to suggest that we consider item 6.1 at this time.
All right, we'll go to 6.1. Unless there's any questions about finances? None? All right, 6.1, please.
I've invited Kathy Brewer, our administrative assistant and the primary person in charge of making sure our accounts and our accounting system is all on the up and up and square, to present the policies that we have in place when payments are late or accounts are unpaid. This was at the request of Commissioner Naffa, and so this is a review of existing policy. There's no need for action unless the board thinks that these policies need to be updated. So it's laid out there. I can go over it if you'd like. We can have Kathy go over it. How would you like to proceed?
Samantha, do you have any specific questions? I was part of helping to draft the 2017 policy, so I'm familiar with that and had looked at the other one when we did that. So did you have some specific questions or concerns?
Were you going to have her make a presentation
No,
about
I'd be
it, or
happy.
just to be-
We can go over the
Okay.
step by step. I'd be happy to review
Yeah, that would be fine. I mean, I did have like a couple points that I did want to bring forward, but I thought it might be better if she started.
Okay. You want to take it from here, Kathy?
Oh,
But I'm
in that
happy to
case-
answer questions.
Yeah, I'll ask.
Oh,
Well, then let's go with questions.
all right.
Yeah,
Okay.
we could read.
Sure. Okay, so a couple concerns that I had just looking over it. Number one would be on the first page, towards the end, it does say, so each charge account that has hold placed on their account has an outstanding balance that is at least 90 days past due. Personally, I think it should be more like 60 days, you know, where we would actually put a hold. So meaning that it's past due, so it would appear like in month 1, and then 2 more months after that, so it's basically 3 months when we put the hold on. And I think that that might be a better portion to the process. And then the other one would be on the notice of account placed on hold, where it talks about the 3 holds your closed policy, and it says, should your account be placed on hold 2 more times, it will be closed. To me, it seems like, you know, you give them one more chance. You know, I mean, you have it on hold, and you give them one more hold, and then if they don't, then that's taken away, and then it can also be brought back by the board. But to give them, like, you know, once it's placed on hold and say, you know, you've got, you know, 2 more possible holds, people might just take advantage of that. I noticed that, you know, there's only a few, at least based upon the past month, but some of those have gone into bankruptcy. And it just seems like, you know, just to protect us, you know, because they can always pay by check or cash or whatever. But I think that this is a courtesy that we offer them by giving them this charge account. And we certainly wouldn't want them to take advantage of it.
Okay.
The board set the policy, so if you would like to
First of all,
change
I
it.
want to appreciate the general thrust of your questioning and the suggestion, because that certainly would improve cash flow. And I think from our perspective, from staff's perspective, it's something that we would generally like to do. But because this is a policy that needs to be approved by the whole board, if that's what the board would like to do, we can reformulate a policy and bring it to a subsequent meeting for review and approval. Or if you'd like, we could just make the change now, but I think it might be a little bit better if we could come back with a fully developed policy.
The only thing I'd have to say, I like the policy as it stands. Generally, you don't change policy unless there's something that triggers the chain. And if it's just 1 or 2 accounts that have been problematic or are currently problematic, I don't see a change as being necessary at this time. Do you see it? Obviously, you might see that differently. At this time, I don't.
Well, I serve on several other boards, and one of the boards I'm on, one of the companies that's here is in bankruptcy, is also in bankruptcy there, and it's just that, you know, you get stuck with some of these bills, and it seems like that we're extending them too much time, you know, for the charge. At least that's how I'm looking at it. I mean, I think we should be encouraging businesses to, you know, act promptly, because like residents, I mean, we have to also, you know, act, you know, within a certain time period. And I'm just looking at it so that we don't have a problem down the road.
Sure.
Even though it's only a few right now. And it can always be brought back to the board meaning that, you know, if someone says, hey, look, you know, I had a problem, you know, in the past, that's why this happened, you know, can I have my charge account back? And I don't see any problem with that.
I would leave it up to the discretion of the director. I mean, we're a quasi-government agency. In this case, we are customer service based, and if there's latitude that we could give to customers, I don't see a reason to change at this point. But that's just my personal feeling. Be open to change, but I don't know. Ted, is there a reason to change at this point? Are there folks taking advantage of us?
At this point in time, I guess I think Kathy's on top of the accounts and the communications, that there are very few that are outstanding and go to collections. I don't question that it would accelerate our cash flow a little bit, and it would reduce customer convenience a little bit. So it's, unless there's a consensus from the board or a vote, then we'd probably keep things as they are.
I guess my question would be, if we were to go from the 90 down to 60, how many would that collect? Does that make sense? Because all of a sudden that number is going to go up. Is it going to go up by a couple? It's going to go up by a lot.
It is going to make a significant difference. I feel that the biggest change that you could possibly make would be to change when we implement late fees. As of right now, no late fee is implemented until the account is placed on hold. And I know that we do have a number of accounts that definitely take that into consideration when they pay their bills.
So for me, I think it'd be more important to go with a late fee. That makes more sense. That would keep people more in control from going further out. Maybe solve the problem that you're seeing.
Impose a penalty earlier.
Yeah, yeah.
For sure.
That would be my suggestion, if anybody's willing to talk about that.
Well, I'm hearing more of a board consensus on that point.
Well, I think that it would mitigate the other factor, because they're going to start seeing those penalties, and then I'm also concerned about moving from 60 to 90, that all of a sudden we have a lot more of administrative handling of people who, at least initially, of people who have become accustomed to even our new policy. So I think that if staff would like to bring back some, maybe you guys can talk about it internally, having had this discussion and hearing back from the board and the input that Kathy's brought us about the late fee and bring it back on our next meeting. I think it's a worthy discussion for us to look at how we can best manage these
I'd be
past
willing
due
to
accounts.
discuss that further also.
Okay.
Great.
Sounds like a great
Okay.
suggestion. Thanks
And,
for the
you know, and
input,
just basically, I mean, based upon that, when you do look under the day 90, the second sentence does say, if no payment received, 10% of the outstanding balance, and it says 61 and 90 days past due is assessed the late fee. You know, if that's moved up, you know, to the day 60, and it says, you know, the 3160, and that's the 10% would start then. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think
it's a
that
good
would solve
discussion.
it.
Okay,
Okay.
great.
All right.
Thank you for that.
Kathy.
Good discussion.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Kathy.
Q&A is fine.
Okay, so that takes care of 6.1. You want to back up then to 5.1? We don't have anything from 3 and 4.
Right.
And talk
Okay.
about the mattress management.
Thank you, Kathy. So mattress management. Mattress recycling in California is administered by CalRecycle, that looks over the shoulder of the Mattress Recycling Council, or MRC. This program was initially initiated in 2013, and the Mattress Recycling Council collects $10.50 per mattress or box spring sold at a brick and mortar retail outlet in California, and then they use those funds to support mattress recycling. Under the law, that objective should be at least one facility in each county that's open. From my perspective, should be open the same number of hours that the mattress retail locations are to receive those mattresses for recycling. We do not currently have that level of convenience in the county. And there are a number of provisions of this program that we are also not taking advantage of, such as there are provisions in other areas where the Mattress Recycling Council pays for at least pays in part for the collection and disposal of dumped mattresses that are illegally dumped throughout the community. And while that might be of some interest to us, the reality from the outset of this program has always been that under contract with Hambro WSG, we need to pay more per mattress than MRC was willing to pay. And since it was a pre-existing contract before MRC was even an entity, it didn't seem reasonable for them to come in and say, well, that price should be different, because we're not allowed to do that within our contract, and our contractor isn't allowed to do that. So it seemed that the most reasonable thing was they could support us however they wanted mattress recycling to happen. If they don't like our prices, fine. Find another location, offer mattress recycling. You pay for it. That's not our concern. But what never has set very well with me from a policy standpoint is that they have literally tens of millions of dollars in their bank accounts. And they use this as part of the argument that their per mattress fee started at $11 per mattress, and they successfully lobbied to have that mattress fee reduced to $10.50. Well, I don't mind them reducing the fee, so long as they're providing the service. But when you balk at the cost per mattress, you don't provide the service, and you lower the fee because your account balances are too high, that makes me question their commitment to actually fulfill the requirements of the program. And so, at the same time, concurrently, I'm very appreciative for what they've done. Liz Wagner, our local rep with the Mattress Recycling Council, has been very helpful when we've had our events in suggesting the events and in getting Humboldt Moving and Storage to open Wednesdays mornings to receive mattresses for no charge. That's all great. Love it. But still, they're collecting $10.50 for every mattress and box spring sold, and the only services that are available currently are this Wednesday morning collection. If a person is buying a mattress from a retail outlet and they're having that mattress or box spring delivered, they can ask for their old one be collected at no charge. And then we also have these periodic events at the Del Norte County Transfer Station. So that's the entire gamut of current mattress recycling services available here in Del Norte County. The reason why we're bringing this forward today is that our last mattress recycling event didn't have as many mattresses come in, which is fine. Initially, what we thought about that was that probably people were going to Humboldt Moving and Storage, and the word was getting out because they put advertisements in the paper and they on the radio to let people know that Humboldt Moving and Storage Wednesday mornings from 9 a.m. till 1, they receive mattresses for no charge, which is great. But that's as convenient as it gets, and as we did talk to them, what we found is that thus far, at the time that we had talked to them, they had only received 45 mattresses. So what that means is that while it is a little bit more convenient, we're not seeing as many mattresses recycled as we did when we just had the quarterly events. But in any case, because there are fewer mattresses being brought into these quarterly events, it seems to make sense that maybe we shouldn't have them quite as often. But because that's a policy change and a small reduction in service, we thought we'd engage the board and see what you all thought about what is the best way to provide these services. So the general recommendation from staff is to reduce the mattress collection events at the Del Norte County Transfer Station from 3 to 2 free mattress recycling events per year, and 2, to continue to advocate that the Mattress Recycling Council be required to provide at least one location for no-cost mattress recycling services in every California county, and that such Del Norte free mattress recycling locations be open to customers on every day that mattresses are available for sale in Del Norte County retail outlets. So we're not asking that every place that sells mattresses take them back, but we think there should be at least one, and they should be open every day mattresses are available for sale. And until we get to that point of convenience, my view is we're not done. We've got more work to do. It's not convenient enough for collecting fees on every single mattress sold, because to me, that's kind of taxation without service.
Rick, go ahead.
In the report, it stated that last year, or I'm not sure what year this was it 2017, that the mattress council took in about 28,000.
Mm-hmm.
What if we were to ask them to pay at least the $10.50 back per mattress that we take in? That way it would bring the cost of the public down to maybe $7.42 instead of $17.92. Up until whatever, whatever they take in is expunged. You know what I mean? Or used.
I'm venturing a guess as to what they might say.
They'd probably say no.
Because they
But
are
you said-
required to do this under state oversight.
I know that you said that they weren't willing to pay the full price.
That's
but
correct.
would they be willing to pay a partial
They
mattress?
during the negotiations, when we talked about how much they were willing to pay per mattress, they were pretty clear that they had offered us more than they were comfortable offering, that they had gone up against their limit, and that they didn't have any more. They weren't willing to do it. My view of it was that there are probably some counties when it's considerably cheaper than $10.50 to recycle a mattress. So there may be some counties where it costs a little bit more. They're not willing to do that.
My point is that they're taking money out of our county, and as you said, they're not providing us the service. So in the least, they should be at least giving us back the money, or giving our citizens back the money that they're taking out of our county in savings.
I could put that request in writing, but I could anticipate the answer also.
I tend to agree with what Commissioner Granoff said. It can't hurt to ask at this point.
Okay?
And that's why I'm concerned about reducing the frequency of the events, unless you were to tell me that this is a burden on our staff to have these events, and that's why we're making it. Otherwise, then if we already don't believe that we're getting our $28,000 worth, to let them off the hook of having to come up here and provide the service doesn't seem to make sense to me. If they have to be here on site to pick up 2 mattresses, that's on them. If they don't want to address the mandate that has been laid down and talk about the money that they have collected, this is a statewide program. If you can do it for $3.50 in LA County and it costs $17 in Del Norte County, they need to balance that out and just get the job done. So I'm not in favor of scaling back anything that the Mattress Recycling Council is required to do, unless doing this is putting some kind of undue burden on our own staff. And if you need to think about that, because I think that if we want to continue to lobby and make a statement, then we can't start making concessions to them. That's
Okay.
So doesn't the wording, you're looking at
Without a doubt, Kira has done more work related to these mattress recycling events than anybody else on staff. I hesitate to reduce a program based on any consideration of our local staff, because we're here to serve the public. That's why we're here. So if...
I just think that it's part of the way that we keep their feet to the fire of saying you need to come up with a solution. And I do agree that we need to lobby we need our $28,000 worth of service.
Yeah.
If $28,000 is coming out of this county based on mattress purchase, they need to justify that they are providing at least that much service back.
In correspondence, I'm sure that they would dispute that $28,000 number. That would... exactly, but they would assert that some people buy mattresses in Oregon and then try to recycle them in California. Anyway, they dispute how we
Well,
came
of
up.
course they do.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right. So, but what I'm hearing from y'all is that you want us to continue the program as it is and write a letter to MRC expressing continued concern about the amount of money being paid by Del Norte County residents and the level of service available. Is that
That's what I'm
correct?
hearing from this end. We haven't had
Okay.
a chance down here.
Absolutely.
All right?
You good with that? Okay. All right.
Can do.
I have one more question.
Mhm.
Do they reimburse transfer stations or whatever for mattresses in any other county? Like, do they have any kind of program like that?
Right, it's not exactly a reimbursement program. I don't know what those other agreements look like.
Okay.
I know what our negotiations were, and they weren't getting anywhere close to what Hambros considered to be their costs. So
Okay.
we weren't, there was too far a spread between our numbers. And again, I think they would be challenged to actually provide a Monday through Friday 9 to 5 service for the cost that they think they can get by with. I think it's as challenging for them as it would be for us.
Yeah,
All right.
agreed. Okay, we will move back then to under item 6, under general solid waste solid waste authority matters, and 6.2. This is our second reading for the repeal and adoption of ordinance 2018-01. Mr. Ward, do you want to?
Yeah, I know that this is ancient history for some of y'all because it was some time ago. But essentially, this is adopting informal bidding procedures. So when we first adopted these procedures, there were different laws in place, and specifically the big thing is that the financial threshold was much lower. I think it was
75,000, and the current law is 175,000. So we were not giving ourselves the room that we could use these informal bid procedures. So this version, this ordinance does not explicitly reference a dollar number. It instead references the code. So as that's updated, our ordinance will follow. And that, like Ted said, that's the main reason for the revised ordinance.
It's gone back to both, as we are required as a GPA, it's gone back to both the county and the city, and it's been approved on by both of those boards.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any questions about it? Any public comment?
With regard to the mattress situation, I don't understand it entirely, but would it be helpful to have a place so people could bring them all the time, anytime, and we store them, and then an inexpensive place to store them, and then, have them picked up. I don't know. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, let's close public comment, and we'll bring it back for a motion regarding ordinance 2018-01.
I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance 2018-01.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Would you please poll the vote?
Commissioner Keller?
Yes.
Commissioner Naffa?
Yes.
Commissioner Greeno?
Yes.
Commissioner Howard?
Yes.
Chair and Score.
Yes, very good. All right, we are at the end of our agenda. Mr. Ward, is there anything else that you need to mention to us before?
I neglected to invite everyone to visit our booth at the county fair coming up. So we are a sponsor of the county fair, proudly so, and we will continue to be so. So we'll be there saying hello.
Mr. Knapp?
Yeah, as far as what are you planning for this year? I mean, is it going to be more of showing the variety of recycling things that can be accepted and cannot be accepted?
That is one of our core messages, will be what is recyclable and what isn't, to try to make it as clear as possible and to answer everybody's questions who comes to visit our booth.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just hoping that you could expand it a little bit. It was real good last year, but I think if we can even show more, and I even brought some just to ask you afterwards between you and Jeremy, because
Perfect.
I'm confused a lot of
And
times.
I invite the public, bring us your confusing materials. We'll put them on our display boards.
Okay, great.
And just did each of the commissioners receive the letter from Mr. Lonsdale? Okay, and hopefully you all had a chance to look at that. Hopefully that we can come back and have some other discussions about that. I know we just got it, but I was very appreciative of that, Mr. Ward.
And I did,
Look forward to talking about that.
because it was sent to all of the commissioners, I did instruct Kira to include that as part of the submitted public comments for this meeting.
Okay, very good. All right, we're adjourned.